Are you still there? Are they still there?
Oh my God, there are. There's people there. They look old.
5 years on. They must have run out of podcasts or something.
They must be bored. I can't believe they're still there. I feel slightly embarrassed. I feel quite bad.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
We are so back. Hello and welcome back to Gas It Out. If you are listening or watching for the very first time, then welcome along. If this has just popped up in your feed 5 years, more than 5 years after the last one, thank you for being so patient. Yeah, we are glad to be back. And my name is Gavin Emmett. As a way of introduction, I talk about motorbikes. I get too excited on too many occasions. But if you've been here before, you know about that. And I am pleased to say that I am joined by my erstwhile colleague, former British junior motocross champ. Is that right, Hodgson?
Erstwhile.
All right, we've already started. I'm going to buy you a dictionary.
Can we do another start? Because I have no idea what I mean. Is that a compliment?
Neil Hodgson, of course, alongside. Yeah.
Yes. I've been I'm known as that around these parts.
How have you been?
Good.
I don't just mean the last winter. I mean for the last 5.5 years. Where have you been?
Yeah, where have we been? Well, we've been working hard, me and you, haven't we? With obviously BT Sport, we've then turned into TNT Sport. We've been flat out with that, but the last few months I've been hibernating.
No, really. Well, it hasn't been many months though, has it, to hibernate since the end of the MotoGP show?
It's whenever.
Yeah. We are going to try and make these a weekly show at least. We're going to get the usual interviews as well, insights direct from inside the MotoGP paddock. But you and I have been talking for a long time about bringing this back. It went on hiatus at the end of 2020 after COVID, when the world opened up again. I had a baby.
I was lazy. You kept saying bring it back, and I'm like, oh, come on, shall we not bother?
But it sort of got to a point where we're saying, look, we're at all these races. Yeah. We're only on air for 25 hours over a race weekend. What we need is talk about things more. But we both felt that we needed an extra capable pair of hands, some, a bit of, what would you call it? A je ne sais quoi.
Vavavoom. I don't know what you'd call it, but look, we've got a lot of work on if we want to do a good make this podcast great.
Yeah.
And we're going to put a lot of work into it.
Make this podcast great.
we need an experiment answer.
Yeah, it's a little bit of panache, a bit of chic. And so we have invited along someone who's very, very dear to us, of course. You will probably best know him as the star of episode 21 of Gas It Out. That's where he made his name.
A lot of people talk about that.
That's the one they do go back to. He is obviously a good pal of ours, and he is a legend, a legend. He is the Lord of the Manor of where we are right now, the Count of Market Bosworth.
Yeah.
Is that roughly where we are? And look on to himself, Sylvain Guintoli. How are you?
I'm really well, and I'm so happy to be, part of this now. I mean, I thought initially you just ringing me just so I could bring the croissants and the baguettes before we start.
I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no pain au chocolat on hand.
No, it's just coffee and tea now, tea and milk and stuff. I'm like 100%, well, not 100%, but at least 50% English now. But yeah,
I'd say more.
What do you say? 70-30, something like that. But yeah, it's.
I'm the one wearing the French flag here.
Oh, let's have a look.
Oui.
Oui, très bien. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. I'm really happy to be the the butter in the croissant, the garlic in the snails, the whatever you want to call it, and I think we're gonna have some fun.
We will undoubtedly have some fun throughout the year talking through. What have you been up to, Sylvain? Because actually I know one thing dear to you, you are training for the London Marathon, and every time we spoke to you over this winter, you'd be going out and training. Am I right? You were around Mallory Park in a full set of leathers recently.
Yeah. So I'm running the London Marathon.
Cycle.
No, in my leathers. With trainers on though. I've not gone for the boots or the helmet. Just the leathers. That will do. And I will run the full marathon in London with the leathers. So this is a big challenge. It's to support a great charity that's called PASIC. They support families and children with cancer. So they've been really helpful to us as well. So I felt like I wanted to give something back. So I'm doing that. My eldest daughters, Alice and Layla, they're going to run it as well alongside, not in their leathers, just in a normal running outfit. And yes, I've been practicing in Madrid, so I wanted to feel like a little bit of what it's going to be like. So I did a half marathon in Mallory Park with the leathers on, and it was horrendous.
Oh, really? In what way? Horrendous. Chafage. I'm just imagining you're going to be lubed up completely. We've seen it before, but you are going to be fully covered in Vaseline head to toe.
I did have to use a little bit of the chafing cream. Actually, the chafing wasn't that bad, which I was surprised.
Chafing.
Chafing, yeah.
Chafing.
Is that the rubbing?
Oh.
Yeah, the you know, like, yeah, obviously you get a bit sore, you know, in the knees and shoulders, and that was actually a bit bruised. But the worst thing is the heat, because you're inside the leather. I mean,
Mallory Park in January. It does not scream Sepang to me.
and it was cold. I mean, it was about 5-6 degrees, not sunny, and you still get really hot. I mean, anybody that's done track days or racing, when you put your leathers on, I mean, you're sweating before you get on your bike. So imagine running. It's
When is the London Marathon?
So that is on the 26th of April. So I'll be doing, unfortunately, I won't be able to be in Jerez for MotoGP, and I'll be in London running it with a
Well, it's worthwhile. What's the address? Where do people give you some support, sponsorship?
Oh, so yeah, there's some links in my Instagram, on my Instagram page, and on my Facebook page as well. So if you click that, then yeah, you can donate there, support the challenge. Yeah, everything goes directly to PASIC, the charity I was on about. So yeah, the links are there.
Exciting. What are you doing that's worthy?
Oh, I'm supporting you, Sylvain.
Well, I wanted Neil to join, but you got a bad knee, haven't you?
A really bad knee,
Yeah.
ankles, back, and I'm just a little bit lazy at the moment.
Going back the easy period.
You've got that rider excuse book. And look, and that's what I want from you actually during this year when we're talking, obviously when we're speaking to other riders, is to get the riders' input, to get, you know, you've both been MotoGP riders, you've both been world champions, you know, you've both been at the top of the game, and to get actually your take on it. And maybe we start actually with what we've seen so far in MotoGP, which is the testing at the start of the year in Sepang. And I might actually come to you first of all, Sylvain, because you obviously have been a test rider a lot in recent years. You've been involved in a lot of these tests. So watching from afar, how was that, seeing those tests unfold at the start of Feb?
Well, there was loads going on. So as usual, and for so many years, you've got that pre-test. There's like 3 days for test riders and rookies, and also manufacturers that have got the concession. So, well, in that instance, just Yamaha. So you got those 3 days, then you got 2 days off, and then 3 days. So when I was at Suzuki, I used to do 6 days it's 6 days of riding in 8 days of time. And it is so hot, and it's a massive shock because you come from Europe, it's freezing. You get there, Malaysia, the temperature, the humidity, you got to do all them laps. And yeah, I think it was actually Savadori that struggled. His neck was completely locked.
The 2,000 kilometers. Something like that around.
Big physical challenge, and obviously a very important, because the testing is so limited now for manufacturers and riders. It's a really, really important appointment there, because everybody comes up with the new solutions for the year. They've got engines to test, they've got, you know, aero and so on. So they've got a lot of work to be done there to then make the choices for the seasons that start so early. You know, we're going to start at the end of Feb. So everything has to be in place for the end of Feb.
Yeah, and we weren't at the test, we're pointing that out. I've got probably seen, as a lot of you have at home, you know, things remotely, but we have heard debriefs, we get those said to us, that kind of thing. Alex Marquez topped the test, as we know, for the Grassini team. He was a 10th quicker than Marco Bezzecchi, family Gian Antonio. Mark Marquez was there in 4th. The run of it, shall we say, Ducati top 5 out of, also 5 out of the top 7, my apologies, is what they've finished that test with. But we always caveat everything we always say about testing, Neil, is you can't read too much into that. Some, as Sylvain was mentioning there, some of the manufacturers are trying everything. Some, like Ducati, are really just refining the package they've got. What's your big takeaway from the...
I'd say the big take, and I know it's a little bit depressing to say it at this point in the season, is it looks like Ducati have made a little step. Obviously, we know that they've led the way for the last, 7 years, you'd say. Ducati's led the way. But, and I guess everyone's hoping that the gap for the other manufacturers to Ducati will have got a little bit closer. It doesn't feel like that from the Sepang test. That said, the Ducati always works really well at Sepang. That is, I know the Ducati works well at most tracks. So, standout wise, on race pace, because a lot of the riders on the last day did a sprint simulation, which is about 11 laps, 12 laps, can't quite remember. it looks like Ducati have got an advantage. Or I should say, it looks like Ducati's advantage has grown. So on your one lap pace, it looks like Honda have made a bit more of a step forward. Aprilia with Marco Bezzecchi looks quite impressive, but like I say, on the race simulation, it's a bit disappointing.
Just to focus in a little bit on that for Ducati, should we talk about Marc Marquez? Because, you know, he was the talking point at the end of last season. He was the world champion. It was that amazing comeback story, everything there. Then the collision with Marco Bezzecchi happened in Indonesia, wrecked his shoulder, and he missed all the race at the end of the season. He missed testing. So it was his first contact with a MotoGP bike since Indonesia. And so what did you see, Sylvain, from Mark? Are you positive? Should we be all excited about it, or should we be really nervous that it actually looks like he's going to be 100% okay?
I think he managed his test really well, managed his comeback really well. Like I said, Gavi, he's been away from the MotoGP bike. He's had a few tests in Europe, you know, on like go-kart tracks on his like training bike, but he's not ridden the MotoGP bike for months. And also his injury, acromioclavicular, it's actually the exact. No, is it a medical term?
Oh, it's got to be saying it because I'm a bit.
So it's got
Are you even doing some homework? This is...
No, it's swallowed a medical handbook.
Yeah.
So it's an injury that I actually had in the right. So I had the exact injury and I'd had the exact surgery.
What did you say? Then Marc Marquez just tries to copy.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Acromioclavicular.
Exactly, I told you.
It's actually not a shoulder injury. It's a collarbone joint injury. So it's like the collarbone where it attaches to the shoulder comes out of the socket that it's in and is held by ligaments there and muscles, but mainly ligaments. So the collarbone comes out and there's different grades of it. So it's common to have like a grade 1, grade 2, and normally that doesn't require surgery. It means the collarbone is not completely out. It's just loosen the ligaments out a bit. But in Marc Marquez's case, and also that injury I had in 2013, the collarbone was completely out. That's why he needed to have surgery to put it back in. And it takes a long, long time. I mean, I can still feel it now.
Is that why you look like you've got no shoulders?
Yeah,
Is it? Or I just...
literally.
No, but like, a lot of people have commented over the years saying, it's looking weak and like, almost not manly. And I went, I think it's due to injury.
I actually thought about getting it done on the other side as well, because it makes you more error.
Hey, not like John Hopkins though.
Yeah.
Also, when we see John recently, because
He has no shoulders.
it's just because it's all gone.
Through injuries, like
pretty injuries.
John Hopkins, literally, his head goes straight to the top of his arm. Have you seen that? Seriously, he's got no shoulders due to injuries.
They've all been destroyed over the years.
So to come back at Mark, his return was like measured. I think it was measured, and he did that last year as well.
That's a luxury. That is the luxury you have, though, isn't it?
Because he has that confidence, and also because of his past, because of the injuries that he's had, and he said he's more mature now. So the approach into testing is not like I'm going to try and be a hero after 5 laps. His approach is I've got lots of time here. I'm going to build my feelings
on day one, but
he was fastest at the end of day 1.
Did you not feel that was a statement in itself? That's Mark saying, hello, guys.
He did a time attack,
He
which
did a time attack.
normally do on day 1.
Yeah, so he obviously felt okay.
Yeah.
And
I
felt
wanted to just
But it is a finger up, isn't it?
to everyone to say, I'm back.
yeah. So he's had a strong test. Didn't end up fastest, but had a really strong sprint simulation as well. I mean, Alex Marquez, which was the fastest. Then on average, there was a 10th later was Pecco Bagnaia. That's good news. Potentially that he's back in the rhythm and he's going to put up a fight this year. And then Mark was just there. So yeah, it was a really strong test for Mark. Did he dominate? No. But like Neil said, the Ducati on race pace looks really, really strong.
But you always would feel Alex Marquez and Pecco would go well there. Pecco won the sprint. Alex won the race when we went there back in October. Slightly different conditions. A bit colder, actually, for once. We played golf, didn't we, out in Malaysia? It was the first time we've ever...
It wasn't that hot when we played.
In decent conditions over in Malaysia when we were there, but it was very hot and steamy for the test. Quick word, though, on the other Ducatis. As Sylvain was saying, Alex fastest. And Pecco, I suppose, is a good news story. Should we get excited that we might get some of the little bit of intra-team rivalry we thought we were going to get in 25?
To be honest, it's hard to say today, only because Pecco went well in Malaysia last year, having obviously won the sprint there. So it's a track he goes well at. He's confident there. So we'll know after the next test, which is coming up, obviously, in Thailand.
But good news for him was Fabio Di Gianantonio was going well. The reason I say that is they both had their struggles, didn't they, on the GP25? And it feels like this 26 is, well, obviously we know the engine is the same because they've got the engine freeze, but it feels like it's a development of the 24. They've actually built on it and maybe.
But I believe the aeros sort of from the 24, it shows you how good the 2024 Ducati was.
And they did try that different aero, which look a lot more heavy, like as in like a lot more,
Big front.
yeah, a lot more downforce. But it looks like they're not going to go ahead with this. So yeah, I mean, we are at the end of a really long period of time where the rule book has been stable. So we are looking at that the manufacturers are not doing any revolutions, and sometimes they can get it wrong, like Ducati did last year with the 2025 factory bike. So they've got to be really, really careful what they do. So they are, trying to find little marginal gains, and they are especially trying not to make any mistakes, because once you've homologated your engine spec, for example, for all the manufacturers that haven't got concessions, so including Honda as well now, they so from FP1 in Thailand, the specification will be what it is. So they have to be very careful.
But also, how many times over the years recently have we seen them in the first 4 or 5 races just build up to it, and then we get to Jerez? You get to that start of the European season, and suddenly they start to pick things up.
Just one thing I was going to say, I mean, noticed how a lot of the bikes are starting to look very similar as well, which shows that the end of the development cycle, everyone's tried different things, and now certainly the front sort of nose cone area.
It all looks so similar, doesn't it?
So similar, don't they?
And then the Honda has changed quite a lot as well. They've made it narrower.
The more copy, but in this period of the regulations, the rules, people have moved around. So a lot of Ducati engineers have moved, or Aprilia engineers obviously moved to Honda. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's shared knowledge and information. That works.
Of course, no Fermin Aldeguer. He's got a long recovery ahead, hasn't he? That's slightly worrying for him. I really feel for him because it's contract time, and he was probably in the mix of thinking about, they talk about Pedro Acosta, the Ducati factory, and he was probably thinking, hey, I'm the young kid actually you're looking at. I'm in-house already. But anyway, we wish him well. Hopefully he's back soon. We'll move on. Talking of injuries, let's get to Aprilia. They were the closest challengers last year. It looks like they picked up where they left off. Marco Bezzecchi looking good. First things first signing made.
Yeah.
Bezzecchi with Aprilia 2027. Beautiful. So Sylvain, for those on the audio version, has his head in his hands almost. Neil, you were a massive fan. We sent a few messages about the marriage that happened between Marco Bezzecchi and the RSGP with Massimo Rivola. What was he? Was he giving the bike away? Was he the priest? I'm not sure what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know. It was painful, wasn't it? for a manufacturer that have literally built the most beautiful MotoGP bike that's ever existed. I mean, it is my favourite bike.
Beautiful bike.
I quite enjoyed it.
It looks amazing. For them to announce the re-signing of Marco Bezzecchi with this cheesy wedding and him with his letters, it was one of the worst.
It was a lot of formaggio on top of everything, wasn't it? It got us all talking, I suppose, and that's the job for PR, isn't it? Do you know what made me like it? Knowing that Neil Hodgson was there.
Honestly,
it just made me like it.
I was fuming at home. Why do I care? I shouldn't even bother, should I? But when I see a rider kiss, I don't like riders kissing the bikes. I don't like riders calling the bikes her. That annoys me. It shouldn't. I should let
you are such an old man.
I know, but I even know that. Honestly, I'm angry now sitting here thinking about it.
I quite liked it.
Give me water. No, do you know what I mean? Like, it's pathetic, isn't it?
You just done a half marathon in your lepers.
Yeah.
You got that red in the face. But anyway, it's a done deal. I think we all felt it was going to happen. It was on the cards. And it looks like Aprilia have eked out a couple of little bit more so that, Bezzecchi is still in with a shout.
Yeah, well, Bezzecchi looked so good at the end of last year. I know Mark wasn't there anymore, but he did look really good. The Aprilia worked as well on loads of different tracks. I mean, they did such a good job last year, bringing all the package together, making it work. Like I said before, the Aprilia had sort of specific tracks where it would work, the nice and flowy one, Barcelona, Silverstone. It was always the usual, and it was like that every single year. So we kind of like knew a little bit in advance where it's going to work or not. But they transformed that last year. They managed to make the bike work when it never did before. They managed to make the bike work when we had the hard carcass rear tire, like the lowest rear grip, when before that was sort of like their nemesis. They made it work on stop and go track. So yeah, fantastic job, and very well deserved, renewal for Bezzecchi, because he was. I mean, I don't think any of us expected that last year. And
No.
Well, he was sort of picked up out of the doldrums, wasn't he? Via Puglia, really.
He's number two, right?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be number two. Obviously, everything went wrong for Martin, but he stepped up and he delivered. So yeah, I think it's fantastic that they've renewed it really early, and he looked good. Well, he looked good in Sepang. Sepang was not a good track as well for them in the past. So once again, they're proving that they're making it work somewhere where it normally doesn't.
On the other side of the garage, we have to talk about the absence of Jorge Martin. The man he's made of glass. He's had, it was a left wrist, right collarbone, more surgery that we didn't know about. He has been past fit for Buriram testing at the very least, but I feel like deja vu.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? When I saw the announcement, I'm like,
Well, they've done the team announcement, hadn't they?
That's right.
Back in Italy. So it was, everything's back to normal. And then suddenly,
yeah,
he's not going to be
he's
tested.
going to miss the test, having missed all of, well, pretty much the majority of last year. I believe he's had a bone graft on his scaphoid.
Yeah.
Scaphoid's always a tricky one. I've had the bone graft as well, and it's messy. There's no guarantee that you'll have full movement.
And that's because there's no blood supply, for those who don't know.
Yeah,
it can die.
It can die, and then it turns into a proper nightmare.
Well, no, there's no racers that have had that.
It's ended quite a lot of riders' careers. So obviously it's important to get it right.
Who was it who had it removed? Wasn't there someone who had something like it taken out for some...
I know JT had
fused. He had fused.
But JT, with the issue with James Toseland, with the issue with his wrist, I know at one point they were putting the one of the bones, because loads of bones.
Did it fuse it?
No, what they did fuse it, but they tried something else where they put a false bone in.
Oh, right, okay.
He showed me pictures of it all.
Wow.
And that didn't work.
Yeah.
He said
it can be a real nightmare.
Has he had like 10 operations on his wrist? Something like that.
Still been ongoing.
It's still ongoing. Yeah.
There was another one, yeah.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about Jorge Martin.
Oh, yeah, Martin, yeah.
We're here again.
We are here again. It's hard to believe. Someone said this to me, now I don't know, this is a rumour, that they said that, he'd gone for this surgery because something wasn't right. I also heard he crashed a motocross bike or a training aid. Now, I don't know if that's factual. That's just one of these, but then that's done the rounds, and the people that was telling me the stories, this obviously no one like really on the inside, but a lot of people I would trust.
I mean, that would be...
Well, that's what happened last year.
After
the first injury.
I know, right, look, I am all for people testing on motocross bikes at certain points, but for someone like Jorge Martin, I'd be steering well clear.
Like I say, I can't say that that's fact, but that's one of the rumours. So,
well, it's one that you've just started. You've just invented.
No, it's not one of them. I promise you.
Sylvain's drawing. Is this a drawing room? Is what we call this?
As you know, in the past, I have made up my own rumours. Just why not? But this
just to see if they come all the way back.
Yeah, they do.
And they're usually about me, which I find really offensive.
I know, but he's got it on, hasn't he? He said he would not wear his granddad's cardigan, but he's got it on, so.
It's beautiful. It's nice brown as well.
It's lovely. It is nice.
Did you knit it yourself? Was it knitting?
I have.
It's quite bobbly as well. I'm not sure.
I put it on a boil wash.
Yeah, it looks comfy.
It's really. Do you know what? It's keeps me warm. Yeah, could put the heating on in this house. We do know that, Sylvain. Okay, so that's Jorge Martin.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll soon back sooner rather than later. Let's just rattle through the others. I don't know what to say about KTM. Costa and Viñales said they felt sort of happier. Brad Binder wasn't really there. Bastianini still said there's some vibration. I'm personally worried. People are telling me that KTM are positive. Where are we at?
It's hard to say. It looks like, in my opinion, from looking at all the times that I've been through them all, it looks like they're in the same position they were. And it looks like they're going to lose their number one rider. Looks like
that's the reality. Yeah, that's how it looked like.
Well, Acosta's desperate to go. That's going to happen. Where he goes, whether he goes to the Ducati, we'll get onto the gossip later on, is another matter. But is he going to be able to win a race this season, do you think?
It's going to be tough. I mean, last year, at the end of the year, he came close, But it
But
was,
you
it was
have to caveat that within the
and
aftermark.
you could feel that,
That's
yeah,
true.
and also that, and you could feel that it was him that was just taking
Oh.
liberties, taking so many risks. It was him that was making the difference. So I suppose we'll see. But
Indonesia was what
I agree
that
with Neil. It doesn't look like they made much inroads. I mean, the most interesting for me with KTM, you know what I'm going to say.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
The most interesting thing is the new collab, you know, of Maverick Vinales and Jorge Lorenzo. I found that during the winter was probably the most entertaining
This
thing.
is
the
what's
winter.
kept me going.
Yeah, same.
This is
literally.
going throughout
Yeah.
the winter.
Whilst you're hibernating at home,
I
you're
have
like
to
that,
say,
scrolling.
we have all shared message after message about that, haven't we? About the, if anyone has not seen it, it's the fact is that Jorge Lorenzo is now the guru, and that self-styled guru.
It's not like
Not like
Jorge, is it?
Jorge to take on a hat like that and wear it proudly. But yeah, he's going to fix Maverick Vinales. He is the fixer. The funny thing is that Jorge Lorenzo was always seen as this very unique character, this unique
didn't
persona.
train a lot,
What-
loads of natural talent, and
But also pushed into it from his dad from
Yeah.
a young age. Cheat shows involved somewhere as well. This system, they've got a system where they're going to
It's like different
Maverick
training
out.
training methods, isn't it? But I mean, during the winter, I was waiting for the next video where Maverick would be running after trying to catch chickens, you know, and
it was
a bit like that.
It was a
I
bit
thought
like that.
he was going to have Maverick painting his fence. I thought he was going to have him waxing his car. Genuinely.
I also thought he was going to have Maverick in the operating theatre because he had him riding in the wet on them car parts, crashing.
It's like
just
he's gone to the Pedro Acosta, you know, his old school
Yeah.
Pecco Marmol and gone back and gone, oh, what have they been doing? Going to ride over paint.
And do you know what? I've got mixed feelings about the whole collab situation. Like, it might work.
In my work.
Because my theory is this: if you don't change anything, what is it? It's a sign of lunacy. If you do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. Or if you expect a different result, if you're doing the same thing, he's trying something different. It might work. You know, Maverick's all in his head, and if having Lorenzo in his garage helps him mentally, gives him a bit of strength, a bit of power,
Confidence.
it's going to work. That's a positive. The negative, watching what he had him doing, was if you got a young rider, a junior rider, teaching him the absolute basics, because it wasn't what we've seen Pedro Acosta do. That's a different thing. It looked real basic stuff, didn't it?
Yeah.
And
That's the thing for me.
That was laughable. You're like, this is a MotoGP winner. Like, how many MotoGPs has Mav won?
11, something like
Yeah,
that.
you know what I
around
mean?
there.
He can ride a
He
bike.
can ride a bike. He's battled for the championship. That's the thing. I'm surprised that someone like Maverick, who's got stature, who's got status, he's a world champion in his own right, of course, from the Moto3 class, but that he actually is
Receptive to it.
receptive.
Do
Because
you know what though? A rider
fair play to him.
is. If you said to a rider, right, listen, today you've got to go out in that field and put a lot of cow shit on your head and
You get
walk
you
around,
get 2 tenths.
you will win the world championship.
Yeah.
They-
To do it.
you would do anything.
I would
right?
do it now.
You would do, yeah, you would do anything as a rider. True, though, isn't it? So
I would do it now.
obsessed. You would
Actually,
And guarantee it, I'll do that.
no, it's true though, isn't it? I know riders will do
It's
it.
worth 2 tenths.
For me, it's when the first crack appears. That's my only thing. We have seen
Look
this.
at you. Popcorn, you're waiting for the first because we know it will happen.
Because
Because
only one person
Lorenzo-
can win. No, but only one person can
No,
win.
but also, yeah, which is the fact. And Lorenzo won't put up with, if I can see Maverick having a bad race and Lorenzo talking to the press going, well, yeah, he's cracked, hasn't he? He's weak.
He has had a really bad first lap
And you're
or something like
you're
that.
like, no, don't say that. But
It could go wrong really quickly, this.
yeah,
Yeah.
there will be cracks.
One way or the other.
I hope it will.
And we all
Yeah.
like Maverick. We
Lo-
all
love Mav.
we-
And there was some positives though, because Maverick said so. The tires that were brought in Sepang, there was the soft rear and then the medium rear that had 0 grip, just like last year. And everybody was complaining about it. And Maverick actually said, "Well, actually, I quite like the medium rear because I've been going around car parks with rubbish tires in puddles all winter. The medium rear felt amazing. So
There you go.
you know, he was happy enough.
That's a good one.
Well, we do wish him all the best, of course, this year. And who knows, the talk of he might get a factory ride with KTM going on into the future. Quick word on Honda about where they find themselves. Mere top day 2. There was rain on that afternoon, but he was top 5 at the end of the test. Okay, a one-off lap in that instance. But
Hang on. Aleix has said it's the best MotoGP bike he's ever ridden.
well, if Aleix says it,
It must be
it
true.
must be true.
It's not like Aleix, is it?
Is he the captain for a Honda? That's what I want to know.
Oh, that's a good question because he was
Can you be
Aprilia's.
captain for?
Well, what I've also noticed is that he's selling his bike. Have you seen that?
No.
He's selling
Yes.
his Aprilia
Yeah, he's
in
MotoGP
auction
bike.
for 300, 400,000 pounds.
Oh, for charity?
No,
Definitely
I
not.
don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he has said it's a fantastic bike. So a Honda on the march.
Well, the Honda looks better. I mean, they've
Hey,
they've
it
gone to
looked
work.
good in carbon black with that
Yeah.
little checkered.
It looks
checkboard
good.
style.
It looks different. It looks narrower as well. Like the fairings are narrower, and the aero sort of side system that they've made looks more Ducati-esque. It looks better, and it is faster. I mean, Joan Mir 56.8. That's the
Fastest ever.
fastest ever Honda lap around Malaysia in Sepang, and his race simulation was not bad either. They look better and better. Last year they made massive I mean, last year we kept talking about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Massive inroads. They lost the concessions last year, which, by the way, still allows them to carry a new engine spec
Yes.
until the first race this year. So they've been working still, and the Honda look quite fast as well, engine-wise.
Because I've heard people be down on it, having read what people have been saying from the test. But I think that's so important. They were clearly testing different engines. They're clearly testing
because they can.
because they can do that, and so that's why how you use Sepang, isn't it? That's what you do to be ready then for Buriram and pick a direction to go in. So yeah, I mean, I think it's encouraging times for them.
Encouraging.
There's a chance. Could they leapfrog KTM? Could they leapfrog Aprilia? What do you think?
I think there's a big chance as well, because of what they've proven last year and they carry on doing this year, that they can now sign one of the very top guys for 2027. And this is
That's
a
really
major important thing
It's
for
French.
the future.
The French. Why is
And
it French?
it might be a little bit French as well, yeah, maybe.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we get onto our gossip section. Talking of gossip and talking of that man that you're talking about there, Yamaha.
Yeah.
And we all knew. In fact, I know a few of us in our team on TNT didn't think Yamaha would ever build a V4 because of what they're finding out right here and right now. Their point of difference, their strength was in the inline four, was in the way that bike went. And we all knew that if you switch to a V4, you are playing catch up on 20 plus years more, 25 years worth of data, of information and of knowledge. Yamaha can build a V4, they've done that, we know that. But God, where we are in MotoGP, it's a long, long road. You came back with Suzuki, you helped them come back to things, but they sort of stuck to what they knew. They stuck to
Well, and
they
the
were.
inline four won the championship in 2020 and 21. But since then,
Talking about it.
did Suzuki win? What was that the test?
First news from we had a bet. We had a bet, Sylvain. What's that?
It's been all right.
What's that? 27 minutes.
That's the longer.
You having the spread? You had 12.
I said before, the 30-minute marker, he'll have mentioned
And
that.
you know what, Yamaha though, they don't say the main reason for the V4 is for engine power. They say the main reason for the V4 is because it's narrower and it allows them to use the aero more, the side of the bike. Because with the inline four, obviously the engine is wider, so you have less room on each side to have some aero elements. With a narrow engine, V4, lots narrower, and you can play a lot more with that, and it makes the bike more efficient in aero-wise, and also give you the opportunity to have more elements to help with the turning.
And then obviously next year's rules mean that you lose 5 centimeters, don't you, of width that you're allowed in terms of aero. So all of it comes
For the
into
front
play
wing,
for the front wings.
Yeah.
All these elements come in that they said you have to go V4 for
That's right.
X50. And they missed day 2 of the test. Some unknown problem, we guess engine, we guess something happened after Fabio Quartararo's crash in which he broke his finger and had to sit out the rest of the
No, did it cause the crash?
No, it
No,
was a separate.
it was after.
It was a separate incident. We assumed there was a leak. We assumed there was some pressure in. We assumed there was something going on internally. Have you ever known that in
No.
your vast experience of you get this limited amount of testing, a manufacturer to sit out a whole day of all their riders?
Yeah, no, I've never known it before, and I've obviously been involved in this sport for 30 odd years. But they did the right thing. They had to. If it was a safety issue, obviously they'd done the 3 days testing anyway with they actually with everybody, hadn't they?
Yeah, everyone got to go.
And everyone that's with Augusto Fernandez and Dovi.
Yeah.
Everyone had been out, hadn't they? But there obviously was an issue. they did the right thing. They had to double check it, and then they
To,
obviously
to be fair to them, it has happened when Suzuki came back to MotoGP in, was it 2015?
With the
Well,
Pune,
in Valencia, they had loads and loads of
That's right.
problems, and they had to pull out the race. That was
Yeah.
actually during a race weekend.
Yeah.
They had loads of engine failures then.
Mm.
So and that was them switching from, actually the other way around, switching from the V4 to an inline 4.
Mm.
So you, like you said, Gav, catching up on the experience that all the manufacturers have with a certain engine configuration, it's a huge task.
Think about it this way. I was thinking about it yesterday. Like you look at where Yamaha they're at, and let's say all the other manufacturers, they are fine tuning the last 1%.
Yeah.
And where Yamaha are at the moment, they're in the 10%. They're that far
Yeah.
off, and it's not that they've done anything wrong. But this, like you said, 20 years of development, fine tuning, working out. Because as it stands, they've got a V4 that's slow as well. It's 10 kilometers, 10 Ks down. So they built this bike that they're trying to understand. Plus, it's slow. The idea was, oh, well, at least we'll have top speed. But they haven't even got that.
No, but
At least we'll have reliability and top. No, we haven't got that.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But there's all other things out there that come into play, like ride height devices and that kind of thing.
So
extract.
much.
Because I remember
So-
watching that bike in Sepang. We saw it. I was there out on the racetrack, and Augusto Fernandez was on it when we were there for the race in October, and it was just pumping out the corners. The ride height device wasn't working with it because then you had the packaging issue and all these sorts of things that come into play. It's not just about, build a V4 engine. It's going to have
you'll be
more,
fine, yeah.
more power.
Well, everything is different. The weight distribution, the whole concept of the bike is completely different.
There were some positive noise, I will say, from Jack Miller, who's the V4 man there.
But his sprint simulation was actually not bad, Jack.
You know, and he's said, look, actually, it's not performing too badly.
Also, sorry, I'm smiling because with all what's happening with contracts, Jack has got one real option, and that's to be the Yamaha man.
Yep.
Toe the corporate line. He'll work his balls off. We know what Jack's like. He's a grafter anyway. He's great at PR, but he's bright as Jack. So he'll play the game really well. And if everyone else,
Never thought I'd say it about Jack Miller.
No, I know,
He is a
he is.
fart cookie, though, isn't it?
well, he's been in this paddock a long time and he gets it. So I don't. Bear in mind, I'm good friends with Jack. I don't trust what Jack says on that side of
Yeah.
things because I feel like Jack's just been
Doing the corporate game.
doing it perfectly.
But they know now. We know Fabio's going to leave. It's almost, it's done,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's done that's going to happen. And then, well, he's the B4 man. We know Toprak. We'll get onto him in just a second. Toprak's come from World Superbike. That's a different story. He's the one who's ridden the Honda V4. He's ridden the Ducati V4. He's ridden the KTM V4. He has got banks and banks of data. And we've seen at previous manufacturers like KTM, they were really impressed with his development skills and with his feedback.
Yeah.
So he could play a key role. A quick word. If Yamaha are spending this year learning, Toprak's going to be doing it with them. You know Toprak very, very well indeed. You worked with him at BMW a lot. He sounded really down in the dumps, and I felt like he needed an arm around his shoulder to go, hey, there's no expectations. Some people have expectations on Toprak, but I think from inside the paddock, when we've talked down his chances, it's not from a lack of respect for Toprak, it's from our utmost respect for Toprak.
and understanding of what we've seen.
It's the reality. The reality is, and I think we all agree on this, the Toprak is a extremely talented rider, and he has unique skills that he was able to use in World Superbikes because of the spec of the bikes, because of the tire manufacturer with Pirelli there, and this sort of skill set, very special skill set that he has. That's what last year we were, when we knew he was coming, we all thought this is going to be tough because MotoGP is different, the bikes are different, and mainly the tires are different. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough year for him. And the problem that he has is that the current sort of setup in MotoGP with the Michelin tires and the way you have to specifically ride the bikes doesn't really go with his natural style. So he's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to modify his instincts, which is extremely hard to do. So yeah.
As you're older, he's an older rider as well coming into MotoGP.
Yeah.
It's like Yamaha missing 25 years of V4 data. He's missing 13 years or whatever it is of the others having been in a Grand Prix paddock, and that's valuable.
And if you think about it, last year Yamaha's #1 rider Fabio Quartararo finished 9th in the world,
And is that as well.
and it is incredible. And that's on the inline 4. But we're going to bring out this new V4, which we already know sitting here going into the 2026 season, the V4 Yamaha is going to be a worse bike than the inline 4. It is. Because it already is by a chunk, really, if you looked at the times from Sepang, what they've done on the inline 4 compared to the V4. Right. So you've got that. And last year, the best rider, who was an incredible rider, finished 9th in the world. So top right, not only is he going into the short pool, not only has he to reinvent his riding style.
A bike that doesn't fit him, where you can't even have the fins on the back because of the size.
He's too tall. Not only all that, not only is he trying to redesign a bike to fit him as well, because he's got such a weird way of riding, he's almost like, even before you start, you're giving up, I'm going to say, 0.7 of a second. You're already giving that because the Yamaha's going to be that down per lap. And where do you expect him to finish is the question. Like, I keep getting asked it, I guess you guys are the same. And when I say, I don't know if he finishes 15th, and when I say it to people, literally everyone has this look of shock, and it's like,
Yeah, but look at the other riders on the grid.
who's he going to beat? I always say that to people.
That is the
Who
reality.
do you expect him to beat?
The guys there, all the
Already
guys on the
giving
grid.
up, already giving up 0.7 of a second
Hmm.
because you're on the Yamaha, because it's not quite.
It's going to be a huge task this year.
But
isn't it?
he and Yamaha have to just have to take it amongst themselves now, take it upon themselves to go, we are learning. This is about 27, and it feels like that now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like you have.
I just hope he really tries and stay calm, learn as much as he can, and concentrate on 2027.
And not get too down.
already. And not get too down. And don't get hurt. And don't get hurt either.
We
The arm around the shoulder.
Hey, we know we've been big fishers in small ponds, and I don't mean that, and I'm not absolutely, I'm slagging myself off. I'm not slagging off World Superbikes. I love World Superbikes. I've lived for World Superbikes because it's created the life I've got now. Do you know what? When everyone's patting you on the back, when you are the man, and wow, has he been the man? Top Rack's incredible. He's the star. He's the show. And once you lose that, and he's going to lose that this year, there's no two ways about it. He's not going to be that hero. He's not going to be getting the patted on the back. He's going to be riding on his limit, battling for 15ths. Do you know what happens?
Well, you tell me, because 2004 MotoGP, what happens, Neil?
I went from hero to zero, and do you know what happens? You hate it. You hate every part of it. The problem with MotoGP is now, even more so now, it's 22 rounds. It's never ending. It's already started. Testing's already started. The launch has started. All the PR that comes with being with a manufacturer in MotoGP, it's like times 10 compared to what it is in superbikes. And when you've not got that endorphin release, when you've not got the pat on the back, when you're not the hero, it's bloody hard. It wears you down. And this is the bit where I just hope he doesn't get down on himself. And I hope he digs in, and I hope Yamaha improve their package, and I hope they build a bike for him, because what I've witnessed with him as a rider is just, he's phenomenal. He's so talented, but
Agreed.
But he needs he needs to get through this period. So he's got such a tough year ahead of him.
His team around him is going to be important.
Yeah.
Of Keenan and Co and Yamaha.
Yeah.
To just keep that arm on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Right. When we come back, we're going to be talking gossip. What's going to happen? Who's going to go where? We're already on 2027. What? Welcome back to season 2, episode 1 of Gas It Out. It's a long time since season 1, isn't it? Before we went to the little break, Sylvain, we were talking about Toprak, but you were talking about just his height, and I just want to come back to people won't have heard, because we were talking about it off air, about Toprak and his seat and all these kinds of things.
Yeah, so we've seen in Sepang that Toprak was not running the rear wing on the seat, at the back, which every rider uses. the effect of those basically gives you more rear contact on braking, gives you a bit of downforce.
Well, it's helped Aprilia a lot, hasn't it? It's one of the things they've worked a lot.
It helps, and this is why every rider and every manufacturer are using it. But Toprak wasn't using it. Now the reason is because I'm going to try and make that short. But historically, Toprak likes to have a very low seat, so that's what he did at Yamaha. He made them redesign the seat so it's like really low and curved into the like very close to the foot pegs, basically, as close as possible. He did that at BMW as well. The seat was very low, and
you said it was almost impossible to ride.
Yeah, so like for example, I would jump on his bike, being the test rider for BMW, and it's actually, I mean, it hurts your knees and your legs, because I'm about the same size as him, a little bit shorter, and you literally, you feel like your bum is really close to the foot pegs, and you kind of like, it's hard to move on the bike because you're obviously constantly pushing on your legs, and we all like try and be flexible, but this was like next level yoga you need to do to be able to handle that bike. So anyway, what I suspect and what I think has happened, what I can see actually on the picture, is he's asked Yamaha to have a low seat. Now there's a rule in MotoGP where the top of the seat, so you got a slope for the seat, top of the seat you draw a parallel line, two parallel lines, horizontal, and there should be 150 millimeters there for the top of your wing. But because Toprak's seat is asked to make it lower, that distance is increased, so it doesn't allow them to run the wing. So basically this is an effect of basically Toprak's demand or
unique style.
So that worked in World Superbikes, allowed him to brake harder because he's sitting into the bike.
Worked, didn't it?
So, and did it work?
Incredible.
Come on, it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
That was his.
That was his
USP, wasn't it?
It was special talent, was to be able to stop or slow down in the shortest distance, well, a shorter distance than everybody else, basically. That's why he was gaining most of his time in World Superbikes. Now he's asked to do that, and obviously in MotoGP, because of most likely because of the front tire, it's not working, and he's not allowed to do it. But on top of it, it's not allowed for him to run the rear wing.
So he's got that dilemma of, I ride the bike like this, where I'm sat in it, sat low. That's how I get the feeling and understanding, and I can brake late.
Yeah.
But I have to sacrifice the rear
aero. Or rear
and have you noticed, just especially at this test, sorry, at the Sepang test, the rear aero's grown on pretty much everyone's bike.
Yeah.
That seems to be.
Well, Aprilia have got so many bits and bats on it. The Honda, I noticed, had a load on their Ducati.
Yeah, there must be a lot in it.
Yeah.
So for him to potentially have to make the decision of have to ride without it. It's a big one. Isn't it?
We tried it back, I mean, it was a few years ago, but we tried it at Suzuki in a test. It was like the Stegosaurus ones, a bit like the Ducati ones, and it actually made a big difference. You could really feel it. Yeah, you could feel it. Braking zone, you could feel that the bike was just had a little bit more rear contact.
So you could create turbulence as well behind.
I did,
because that was obviously one of the things in Formula One, was always creating dirty air.
We didn't actually test that, as in like with two riders, but the main effect as you were riding was that when you're in the braking zone, you felt like you had more contact, therefore you can run a little bit stronger engine brake, for example, when you're straight, because especially with the Michelin tires, the rear tire is helping you to stop the bike. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense for people that are not very technical, but the more grip you got in the rear, the more you can stop the bike, because the rear is slipping, so it's helping you to stop the bike.
Yeah. Or talking about Toprak unique style and getting a bike stopped, just a quick word on the MotoGP launch that happened in Kuala Lumpur. Toprak and Jack proving they are going to be, without a doubt, the fun team for this year.
I feel sorry for the rear-eye device. When
I exchanged a few messages with Jack last night actually about that, and I said, you must have been squeaky bum time going over some of the paint.
Yeah.
He said it was manhole covers.
I can imagine.
Kept hitting manhole covers.
As I was watching it, all of you thinking is, this could go wrong so quickly. As just to explain, if you didn't see it, basically both the Pramac riders, Pramac Yamaha riders, rode, I'm going to say side saddle, but it wasn't.
It was Nicky Io
Yeah,
Assassin
it was
style.
basically off the bike and being sort of leaning across the bike and being dragged along, and it was.
And it was the GP bike. They weren't,
Yeah.
they weren't
Oh, no,
on
it was.
production bikes like they had been in the past. It was a good event though, wasn't it?
I've got to say, it looked incredible. And there's a lot of effort goes into things like that. And I know people have got mixed feelings like, well, it's a waste of time. It's not, because we're trying to grow the sport. If we keep doing the same thing, like I said before, we're going to get the same results. Why not try and do it? And like I say, it looks spectacular.
Yeah, Mark Marquez stamping on the rear brake.
He was loving it,
Way around.
wasn't he?
Pedro Acosta said he had a
Scary moment.
Couple of
Brakes
moments.
didn't work because
Yeah.
obviously carbon fibre brakes don't work. And
In the wet, when they're cold.
exactly. So, but yeah, all in all, I don't have a lot of feelings for it.
It's not
but
made for us. Though.
It's not made for us. You're exactly.
It's not our thing, is it? It's not made for, you know, old hacks like us to go along and enjoy it. It's made for kids to see, oh, wow, look at them MotoGP bikes in the streets underneath the Twin Towers.
It looked good. It sounded good. Everything was shiny. The towers looked really good. All the pictures. I thought it was great.
Oh, do you see Zarco with the little Malay? He picked up a little Malaysian girl or a boy, I'm not too sure, and carried it up over to his bike. It was just some beautiful moments.
He also, him getting in with the script, he was there. They'd offered him to play bass because now we've seen that. So
He wants to learn.
He wants to learn the
doesn't
bass
he?
now, yeah. And they've offered him to come and join them on stage if he learns.
Well, he can play a bit of guitar and he can sing as well. I had a
Stingings. I'm not
well, I mean, I had a night out in Paris with him a few years ago, and we joined some of his friends that were doing like a live. There was live music, and he sang. It was a Beatles song. I can't remember what it was actually, and he was actually all right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what,
Oh,
we,
good.
we had the sing-song session in Japan last year, an impromptu karaoke. We were going out as a team. You weren't all there.
you don't like to talk about it.
So like, and we were just having a night out.
Is there any videos of it? Can we see the
It
videos?
was our videos, but
That's the one where I peaked at the airport.
you got in straight back. You had a couple of beers in the hotel reception, and that was it. Gone. And myself and Susie and co, we all went out to the Cage, a very well-known cabin crew place in Narita by the airport there. So we're just having a fun night out with our team, and then suddenly Ducati turned up, and Luca Marini had turned up with his, and Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia joining the stage singing their own.
They just
bits.
won the title as well.
Just won the title that day. Pecco had won. It was a good
Proper
night.
celebration.
There's a few sore heads the next day, but fair play to them all for having a good go. And actually, all look like they're all getting on.
Basically, I missed out on the best night of the year
On
again.
no
Boring,
night of the
boring Neil.
Or was it because you stayed at the hotel that we had the most fun night of the year? I wonder. Let's talk gossip 2027. I can't believe we were talking about it already, but we knew, didn't we? With the change in regulations, there's a potential for 2027 to be the moment for MotoGP, for it to break through into the wider realm of things. We know Liberty Media had taken charge last year. There's a change in format. We know it's going to be wild, a bit of a Wild West, and it sounds like the market is in a bit of that state. Alex Marquez dropped a line in that launch when we were in Malaysia, saying he thinks that all the factory seats have gone for the start of next year, and it's sounding like a lot of people have signed on the dotted lines. Shall we start? What's the headline for you, Sylvain, of the rumours that are going around? I know you're plugged into people, particularly on the other side of La Manche. So what is it that we're hearing? What's the big news story in your opinion?
Well, I mean,
Well,
the
not
big,
news, a big rumour, shall we
the
say?
big one is the first one that came out, the Fabio Quartararo rumor slash, 99% confirmed that he's signed for Honda for 2027-28. So I mean, that's a huge one. That's absolutely massive. And he did hint at it like, at the end of last year already, saying, I've got no time. I need to get back to winning ways. I know I can do it. And obviously nobody doubts him. He's one of the top guys. And we knew, Marc Marquez, Fabio Quartararo, Pedro Acosta, these guys are the guys that are going to get signed first. These are the first pieces of the puzzle for 2027 and beyond that. So yeah, that's the big news, and I've got to say I'm pretty excited about this because it's a massive change. But the Honda is getting better. Fabio Quartararo is obviously a huge talent, but we've not seen him on anything else but a Yamaha. so far, and it's going to be super exciting to see how that goes. And obviously, I mean, with the riders market, I know we talked about this before, but I wish there was some kind of transfer window. I think this is too early. Like I don't really I don't.
You're
I know.
speaking from the point of view now of someone who wants to build up the stories throughout the year like a journalist would,
Yeah.
and wanted to, but we
Well,
want a little bit of spice.
I do, because right now we want to be concentrating on the season starting, not on what's going to happen in 2027.
And what you can't believe is the decisions being made now, or that have already been made, are gonna run all the way to the end of 2028.
Yeah.
And the majority are 2-year deals. So we're sat here now at the beginning of 26, and you're like,
Well, we're going to have riders in their teams, and all the team, the management, the mechanics, everybody, the engineers, already knowing that their rider is going to leave.
Yeah.
So
Do they
this
then
also-
test the 850? They don't, do they? They don't have a look at them. There's all
Yeah,
kinds of
weird.
considerations to
Yeah.
take in on that front. You've both been in the situation trying to find a ride for next year. Neil, you manage Alex Lowe's in World Superbike, so you're in a situation where you've tried to sort him out a ride. What normally we talk about a keystone rider, and usually it's Marc Marquez. It was, when he signed for the factory team, and then others fall into play. It feels like people are trying to get ahead of the curve on that, feeling like Marc's going to stay at Ducati, whether it be Fabio or Pedro. We'll talk about him in a second. But what are the considerations then at this point of the year, when you're a rider or a manager sat here and now in February before the start of the 26th season?
it's stressful for the managers. And the reality is nobody knows what's going to happen in 27. All you can go off is what we've learned over the years. But what we've learned over the years is there'll be a dominance. Honda dominated for decades, over a decade. And obviously now we're in the Ducati period, they've been dominating for 7-8 years. But it changes, it just does.
Yamaha before that?
Yeah, exactly. So the reality is, obviously, the safe bet is you'd go, what's going to be the best bike in 2027? You'd have to say the Ducati, but there's no guarantees. So what's difficult right now, and obviously decisions have been made, and you're right, Gav, I think everyone assumes Marc's definitely going to stay at Ducati. So it's almost
makes sense for both parties.
It really does. So then that's a done deal. So as a manager, you'd be like, that's done, that's locked in, and it looks like Pedro Acosta's going to go there. I mean, what a team that's going to be. I mean, you've got the greatest ever, Marc Marquez, and you've got 21-year-old.
Starting with the controversy.
You've got 21-year-old Pedro Acosta signing to go there. I mean, what a team that's going to be. And he's the next, we all think, don't we? I do.
And he's bristly when it comes to Marc
He's
as well.
bristly. It'll be interesting. Just on that subject on its own, how that relationship is.
Well, I mean, are we guessing then that? Do you think that's a done deal? Do you think Ducati will go that direction with?
Why
those
wouldn't
Spanish
you?
riders?
You've got to.
And Pedro will be offering himself for nothing.
Literally, it will be not about the money. It's get me on that best bike, get me in that red team, the main team, and I will show you how good I am.
How does Davide Tardozzi, how do Mauro Grisili, Domenicali, how do they sell it to Marc? Or does he not have a say in it?
I don't think he's
I don't think
saying
he's
that.
going to say no, and also they don't need to sell it. I don't think Marc will mind too much either.
I think it's the only one.
That's what I've
Yeah,
thought.
do you know what? I've always, what?
Sensation, you're going to piss off Marc Marquez.
Yeah, and I think it will. But
I think they've turned that into
You've
some
got
kind
to-
They're willing to ditch Pecco Bagnaia for him. They're willing to sell anyone. Their grandmas down the river, aren't they?
exactly, and if you Ducati, it's incredible. Imagine you've got Marc Marquez, you guaranteed championship winner, and you've got this, obviously, 21 years old. I mean, he's nowhere near reached his prime, has he?
They haven't raced yet.
No, and he's just incredible, isn't he? He's so talented. He gets the most out of whatever bike he's ever ridden, from jumping into the Moto3 World Championship and winning it in his first year.
Yeah, and like every very special talent, he normally absolutely obliterates his teammates. So
It's
yeah,
going to be
it's
such
going
a
to be
good
interesting.
watch.
It's going to be a great dynamics in the team. I think Marc will see it as he'll turn that into a motivation. He'll turn that into a challenge.
So there is the delay, isn't there, on the announcement, because we thought it was going to come out I think, and it is a rumour, it's not, again, it's not something that I've thought of, but this is the talk that Mark is looking for a 1+1. And I get that, even more so if Pedro's your teammate. Because if you're going to go into 2027, and if the bike's not quite right, or Pedro's absolutely amazing, but the Honda's the bike to be on, why wouldn't you try and get a 1+1?
Just clarify what you mean by a 1+1, because people are reporting it as a 1-year deal, and that's not the situation. Marcus said,
Obviously, you want a 2-year deal. Factories want to commit to 2 years. You want to commit to 2 years. You don't
do 1 year, because what's that saying? What he's giving himself, or sounds like he wants to give himself, is an out.
Exactly. So what you would have is you've got your 1-year contract, and if everything's going good and we're all happy, and there's usually a certain date set in the contract.
Usually June the 30th.
Round about sometime in June. So don't get me wrong, I've seen contracts where it's a little bit earlier because everybody wants to get it settled and sorted. But it gives both parties an out. Well, it depends how strong the contract is. It could potentially just get Mark.
We'll talk about Jorge Martin in a second.
But as it stands, Ducati's obviously the best manufacturer at the moment. Mark's the best rider at the moment. I don't know how those negotiations would be. Like normally, someone holds the cards. It's like for example, Pedro Costa's management and Ducati hold the cards. And Ducati can go, it's this, and
the
this.
opportunity.
Exactly. We'll give you the opportunity, take it or leave it. And that's it. But the Mark Ducati negotiations, God, I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Also heard rumours about Red Bull coming across to Ducati as well. And if it was a Marquez, a Costa lineup, all that would make sense. But you think that Mark would be the draw there? That would be the because we know the Monster is there. It's a team sponsor. It's not a personal sponsor for Mark, but that's big money that could come in if he could get Red Bull on board. But yeah. Anyway, it doesn't bear thinking about on that. But it looks like those two deals are very much in the pipelines, and that then begs a question about Pecco Bagnaia, doesn't it? About him, feeling slighted. He sort of said, and I saw him, I spoke to him in Madonna di Campiglio when they did their team launch, and he was saying he wanted to, he was saying he just needed to prove himself a little bit. He hasn't got time.
No.
He hasn't got time to prove himself. Otherwise, he's going to be musical chairs without a chair
without
for
a
him to sit.
factory ride, which is what he'll be aiming
So
for.
he almost needs to go in quite quickly into the market, and you feel like where would you be looking at? He's got to be looking at Aprilia, hasn't it?
Yeah, and well, in the interviews, it was funny because there was a little bit of there was some very nice and lovely decorations from Massimo Rivola about Pecco Bagnaia. He was paying some great compliments there. He probably did it a little bit on purpose.
Of course he did.
And
Well, in Ducati, and I was there. I was hosting that launch, and a couple of the comments were, "Oh, well, Aprilia seems to talk more about Ducati than they did about Aprilia," which I found also I love it.
I mean, for Aprilia, that would be most likely a really good idea. I mean, we know Pecco last year is at a bad year, and he was up and down, and he showed that he was inconsistent. It was very inconsistent, wasn't it? So this is not great. But if you look back, the 2 years previous that, he was the man to beat. He was the man that was super strong. So could you put it all down to the bike last year? Well, I mean, the other guys, except for Mark, that was riding around the problems like he always does.
Never said that before.
Yeah. I mean, we're repeating ourselves, but this is the truth. This is what he does.
It's what he does.
So that's what he did last year. The other guys on the 25, the Ducati, Pecco Bagnaia, Di Gianantonio, they had up and down weekends, and it was a little bit all over the place, and they all complain about the same thing as well, that front end feeling and so on. So for Pecco, we know that's really, really important, and it's likely, or I would say very likely, that he's going to be a lot stronger this year than he was last year, and it's also likely that on the Aprilia he would be somebody to be somebody in the mix. I mean, who's got more talent, Bezzecchi or Bagnaia? These two.
It feels similar, doesn't it, when you mention them two? Even though, you'd say Pecco's.
Say Pecco's
Just look at
champion.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And so he hasn't lost that, has he? So yeah, I think if we had a pecking order, then Mark's at the top. He's the one who gets the food first when they're heading out to the buffet.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Pedro.
Fabio and Pedro.
Yeah, it's like they're like literally side by side, literally in the
Like you
buffet.
both said at the same time, different riders. That's good. But then, surely
They are-
Or is it Jorge Martin? Because he's someone we're not mentioning here. You talk about how we were looking at 2027 now. He was looking last year.
Yeah, he was trying to
At
get.
the start of last
Get
year,
out.
was trying to get out of his contract to
Get
get
on
on,
that
to
Honda.
get already ahead of the.
Jorge Martin, though.
So he's going to Yamaha, isn't he?
That's the
That's
rumour.
what they're saying. That would fit. Because if you're Jorge Martin, he's never been comfortable at Aprilia.
He's not going back to Ducati.
He's not going back to Ducati.
I thought Honda might have been an option. He was trying to go there
Yeah.
last year. But if they've got Fabio Quartararo, well, he's
They're
not going to
only
get
in-
the payday. Because it all felt like part of it was a bit of a payday from Honda as well. So
Yeah.
If you were Honda and you've signed a Fabio Quartararo, you'd want alongside him to keep one of your riders. I think that makes a lot of sense,
Absolutely.
especially with the new regulations and so on. So
talk about people holding the cards. Yamaha don't hold many, but
No.
what they have got is a checkbook.
Yeah,
I've got some money, and so we need to get a big name rider. We need to get one. Well, of all the ones who are there, Martin's the one.
Yeah, Martin, obviously 24 world champion, and you could get Pecco.
you could get Pecco as well. Pecco
Like, imagine that-
definitely in the
Not say that's a bad team, can you?
Your Pecco, are you choosing that if you've got an Aprilia option?
You'd go for the Aprilia at this point, but that's now, that's today. Like I said, how things change.
and you probably divide the contract by 3 or 4. Like the contract would be 3-4 times bigger
At Yamaha.
At Yamaha, yeah.
Yeah, because he hasn't ever been paid well at that, has he? Because you don't.
No.
The point is you
No, it's funny.
you've been paid well.
I know. I tell you what. That
Bloody 7 million a year. Oh, they've had me over a barrel, these buggers. How much are you on at TNT? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's not been paid well.
Hey, we're talking about pecking orders at TNT Sports. There's a few people I might be behind, but
Do you reckon for Pecco, we might need to lend him some money? I didn't realise they've been so hard done by. No, but obviously we're well joking here. To put it in perspective, you're looking at Fabio Quartararo, who's been on 12 million a year at Yamaha, almost double what you'd say Pecco's been on, and Marc Marquez has been reported to have earned as much as, well, it depends on who you listen to, but as much as 20 million euros a year
when he was at Honda.
at Honda. So
And that's obviously one of the things with Ducati, isn't it? They're trying to do a 1+1 or whatever. How much do you pay him? Because he basically is riding for much less than he normally would. They got Marc Marquez on the cheap. Well, now he's your world champion. Now he's your talisman. Now he's your lead man.
but they both need each other. So then,
Yeah.
and he ain't going to leave. So you go, look, we can only offer you 10 million. That's what it is.
If Red Bull come along and all these sorts of things come into the mix as well.
I think Marquez is all right for money as well.
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be all right. He won't have his cap in hand just yet. Just a final word on that. Then there's the talk of KTM because Alex Marquez was a rumour about him maybe switching
Makes
across there. He wants a factory ride.
Well, you started it with, the queue for the buffet. Where's Alex Marquez?
Yeah, he's got
Well,
second in the world.
He's a slow burner. He was second in the world and deserved to be. Obviously, won races, looked good. You'd have to put him in the queue for the buffet. He's there. He's next. He's behind Pedro and, well, he's behind Pecco and Martin, I'd say.
Still get a sausage roll, not quite a volleyball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we think. Right, okay.
So because then KTM, obviously, they need to, everybody's had to act quick. So he's the next best, and you'd have to get him on, if you could, you'd get him on your bike.
Yeah. Right, I think we're going to have to leave it there for now. Otherwise, there's people at home who are going to be having burnt ears and they're just going to be bored to tears. There's more to come from us before the start of the 2026 MotoGP season. At some points, we're going to talk about World Superbike. That's coming up very soon from Phillip Island. We want your comments too. We want you to get in touch with us. We have got an Instagram page at Gas It Out Pod, or you could get in touch directly with at Sylvain Guintoli. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or at Neil Hodgson 100. Don't bother with Neil. At Neil Hodgson 100.
I can't read.
Or at Gavin Emmett as well. You can get in touch with us on Twitter, on Instagram. I mean, it's not Twitter anymore, is it?
No.
Last time we did this,
Yeah, exactly.
it was Twitter, wasn't it? On X, of course. We'll try and set up Facebook pages, all the like as well. But yeah, get in touch with us. We want to hear from you. But that's it for now. Cheers, boys. And we hope to be back very soon with our predictions our hot takes on what might happen this season in
That's
2026.
with the stone, is that?
Right. That's just 2027. We've got to remember this year yet. So we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us.